From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a Tropical Weather Update.
Fred Gossage here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 with your daily tropical weather outlook. We are watching this disturbance off the northeast coast of the Florida Peninsula that's moving back to the west. This is the same disturbance that moved through the northern Gulf last week. It's doing a similar situation over the next few days, tracking on the south side of our ridge of high pressure, and the National Hurricane Center highlighting a very low end 10% chance of this possibly becoming a tropical depression later in the week and the weekend as it moves westward across the western half of the northern Gulf toward the Texas coast. Honestly, there's not really much, if any, model support of anything coming out of this. It looks like it's more likely to be an open tropical wave as it moves across, similar to what it was last week, just a little tropical disturbance. This little 10% risk area is more of a just in case it tries to quickly spin up a closed low pressure, but I'm not expecting anything significant out of this. I'm honestly not expecting it to become a tropical depression. I'm certainly not expecting it to become a tropical storm. What it will bring is another slug of deep tropical moisture to the southeast coast and then the interior southeast as we head through the latter parts of the week and into the weekend. And we see a similar situation to what we had this past late week and weekend. You can see the disturbance here. A lot of the thunderstorm activity is off out ahead of it over the northern Gulf, approaching southeastern areas of Louisiana, but the actual spin in the atmosphere is back over northern parts of the Florida Peninsula. That's what's moving west, southwestward, and we'll get into the northern Gulf. But again, I'm not expecting really any formal development into an organized tropical system out of it, but as always, we'll watch for surprises. I'm certainly not expecting a big storm by any means. This will mainly be another rainmaker for coastal southeast areas along the northern Gulf Coast, and then that moisture spreads inland again as we go into the weekend. It will also once again increase the rip currents along the northern Gulf Coast. So if you're headed to the beach the rest of the weekend, be aware of the rip current risk that will come with that. Elsewhere across the western Atlantic Basin, you still see all the wind shear continuing across the Caribbean and into the western Atlantic, and this is keeping everything at bay so far, and we don't really see this breaking down anytime immediately soon. Notice that the tropical wave we have been watching out in the central Atlantic getting torn to shreds by this wind shear as it's moved toward the eastern Caribbean, so not expecting anything out of that. And I think for the next 7 to 10 days, if there is a tropical wave that tries to approach the central Atlantic, it will be much of the same thing. We do have a little bit of a spin in this tropical wave out here in the eastern Atlantic, but again, not seeing any organized signs of development because conditions out here are still hostile across the Atlantic Basin, and it may be a little bit, it may be into early August before we see things become more favorable for development. But as always, we'll watch everything carefully. Keep in mind, the Atlantic hurricane season goes all the way through the end of November, and we usually have, in a normal season, we have 90% of our season's activity happening from August onward through the season. So we have plenty of time to go for things to crank up and get more active.